The entertainment world is suddenly shaking. One name has taken over headlines, trending charts, and global conversations: Bruno Mars. But what's truly fueling the frenzy isn't just his long-awaited comeback. It's the question echoing everywhere. Where does Jessica Caban stand in all of this? Before we go deeper, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and drop your opinion in the comments. Do you think this comeback is purely about music? Or is there something more behind it? It all started with an unexpected return. No massive countdown, no overwhelming promotion. Just a sudden appearance that instantly lit up the internet. Within hours, clips of Bruno Mars performing again spread like wildfire. Millions of views, explosive reactions. Fans calling it the return of a legend, a king reclaiming his throne in the global music scene. But something felt different. His stage presence carried a deeper emotion. The energy was still there, but layered with something more introspective. The lyrics hit harder. The pauses felt longer. It wasn't just performance, it felt personal. And that's when the questions began. Because whenever Bruno Mars shifts emotionally, people start looking beyond the music. And almost instantly, the spotlight turned back to Jessica Caban. For years, their relationship has been known as one of the most stable and private in the entertainment industry. No constant scandals, no dramatic headlines, just a quiet, enduring connection that stood strong while everything else around them moved at lightning speed. Which is exactly why any subtle change becomes impossible to ignore. In the weeks leading up to this comeback, fans noticed something unusual. Fewer public appearances together. No recent glimpses of them side by side. No visible support moments that fans had grown used to seeing. And when Bruno Mars finally stepped back into the spotlight, Jessica wasn't there in the way many expected. Coincidence? Or a sign? Speculation spread fast. Some believe this new era of Bruno Mars is shaped by something deeper happening in his personal life. Others argue that it's simply artistic growth, a natural evolution after years away from the stage. But then, another layer of the story began to unfold. Sources close to them suggest a completely different narrative. Instead of distance, they hint at independence. Jessica Caban has reportedly been focusing on her own ventures, building her presence in fashion and business, stepping further into her own spotlight. Meanwhile, Bruno Mars is channeling his energy back into music, crafting what could be one of the most defining chapters of his career. So what are we really seeing? A relationship drifting apart? Or two individuals growing in parallel? Right at the peak of this speculation, something happened that made everything even more intense. During a live performance, Bruno Mars paused, just for a moment longer than usual. His expression shifted. For a split second, it felt like the world around him disappeared. It was subtle, but powerful enough to ignite a wave of new theories across social media. Was it part of the performance? Or a glimpse into something real? Search trends exploded. Keywords like Bruno Mars comeback, Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban relationship, and Bruno Mars 2026 update surged globally. People weren't just watching anymore, they were investigating, analyzing, connecting dots that may or may not exist. And then came the turning point. Instead of addressing the rumors directly, Bruno Mars chose silence. But not empty silence, expressive silence. His music started speaking louder than any interview ever could. Each lyric felt like a fragment of a larger story, not fully explained, not confirmed, but deeply felt. It wasn't just a comeback. It felt like a statement. At the same time, Jessica Caban remained composed. No dramatic reactions, no cryptic posts, just consistency. And strangely, that calm presence only added more mystery to the narrative. Because sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. And now, we're left with a story that sits right on the edge of certainty and curiosity. On one side, we have a global superstar reclaiming his place at the top. On the other, a relationship that continues to intrigue simply because of how little is revealed. Together, they create something rare in today's fast-moving media landscape. A story that people can't stop thinking about. Maybe this comeback is exactly what it looks like, a musical rebirth. Or maybe it's something more, a transition, a reflection, a turning point not just in a career, but in a life. So now it's your turn. What do you really think is happening behind the scenes? Is Jessica Caban part of this new chapter? Or is Bruno Mars stepping into a completely different phase of his journey? Drop your thoughts below, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that this story is far from over. And just when the world thought it had already seen everything from Bruno Mars, a new wave of intrigue began to rise. Quieter, subtler, but far more powerful. Because behind the flashing lights, the sold-out reactions, and the viral clips, there's a pattern that longtime fans are starting to notice. A shift not just in sound, but in storytelling. Bruno Mars has always been known for creating music that feels universal. Songs about love, heartbreak, celebration. But this time, something feels more layered. The delivery is sharper, yet more restrained. The confidence is still there, but it's no longer loud, it's controlled, almost calculated. And that's where things start to get even more interesting. Because when an artist at his level changes tone like this, it's rarely random. It's intentional. And intention always comes from somewhere. Naturally, attention circles back again to Jessica Caban. Not because of confirmed drama, but because of timing. Timing that feels too precise to ignore. Fans began revisiting old interviews, past appearances, even subtle interactions between the two. Every smile, every glance, every word suddenly reanalyzed under a different lens. What once seemed like a quiet, stable relationship now feels like a carefully protected story. One that the public may have only seen a fraction of. But here's where the narrative takes an unexpected turn. Because not all signs point to conflict. Some signs point to transformation. There's a growing theory among observers that this phase of Bruno Mars' career isn't driven by heartbreak, but by evolution. That instead of reacting to something ending, he's responding to something changing within himself, within his priorities, within the way he sees the world. And if that's true, then everything we're witnessing right now is part of a much bigger picture. A reinvention. But reinvention doesn't happen in isolation. It often comes with distance. Not necessarily emotional distance, but physical, professional, and personal space to grow. And that could explain why Jessica Caban appears less visible during this moment. Not absent, but simply not at the center of the spotlight. Which raises a new question. What if the real story isn't about separation, but about balance? Right when that idea starts to settle in, another moment sends the conversation spiraling again. A behind-the-scenes clip surfaces online. It's brief, almost insignificant at first glance. Bruno Mars walking through a corridor, surrounded by his team. He pauses when someone says something off-camera. He smiles, but it's not the same stage smile. It's softer, more grounded, almost like someone who's carrying something internally but choosing not to show it fully. That clip spreads fast. And suddenly, people aren't just watching performances anymore. They're watching everything. Every movement becomes a clue. Every expression becomes a headline. And in a digital world where attention moves fast, this kind of slow-burning mystery becomes unstoppable. Search engines light up again. New keywords climb rapidly. Bruno Mars emotional performance. Bruno Mars personal life 2026. Jessica Caban update today. The curiosity isn't fading. It's evolving. But here's the twist that few expected. Instead of feeding into the speculation, both Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban continue doing the exact opposite. They stay quiet. No confirmations. No denials. No dramatic reveals. Just movement forward. And that silence creates a space where the story grows on its own. Shaped by perception, fueled by curiosity, and sustained by the absence of clear answers. At this point, the comeback has become more than just a musical event. It's become a narrative. A living, breathing story that unfolds in real time, where fans feel like participants instead of just observers. And maybe that's the real genius behind it. Because in an era where everything is instantly explained, instantly clarified, instantly forgotten, mystery becomes the most powerful form of engagement. And Bruno Mars is using it without ever saying a word. As for Jessica Caban, her presence, though less visible, feels just as significant. Not because of what she shows, but because of what she doesn't. Her consistency, her focus, her refusal to be pulled into speculation. All of it adds a quiet strength to the story. It suggests control. It suggests awareness. It suggests that whatever is happening on their terms. And now we arrive at the moment where everything converges. The music, the silence, the speculation, the timing, all pointing to one undeniable truth. This comeback is not accidental. It's deliberate. Whether it's driven by personal evolution, creative ambition, or something deeper that the public hasn't fully seen yet, it's working. Not just because people are listening, but because people are feeling, questioning, and coming back for more. And that's something you can't manufacture. That has to be real. So now the question becomes even bigger than before. Not just what's happening between Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban, but what is Bruno Mars trying to say without actually saying it? Because if there's one thing this moment has proven, it's this: sometimes the loudest message is the one delivered in silence. And as this story continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the world will be watching closely, waiting for the next clue, the next performance, the next moment that might finally connect all the dots, or break them apart completely. So stay right here, keep your eyes open, and don't miss what comes next. Because this isn't just a comeback anymore. This is a story still being written. And just when it feels like the narrative has reached its peak, it shifts again. Because the deeper you look into Bruno Mars' comeback, the more it stops feeling like a simple return and starts looking like a carefully constructed chapter in a much longer story. There's a rhythm to everything happening right now. Not just in the music, but in the timing, the appearances, even the silence. It's almost cinematic. Every move feels placed. Every absence feels intentional. And that's exactly why people can't stop watching. Because this isn't just entertainment anymore. It's intrigue. Industry insiders have begun whispering about how rare this kind of momentum is. Not the numbers, because numbers can be engineered, but the attention. The kind of attention where people replay clips, pause frames, zoom into expressions, and debate meanings that may never be confirmed. And at the center of it all still remains the same question. Where does Jessica Caban fit into this evolving picture? At first glance, her absence from key public moments seemed like a gap. But now, that gap feels almost like a space deliberately left open, inviting interpretation but never forcing it. Because sometimes, what isn't shown becomes more powerful than what is. And then, another moment surfaces. Private industry event. No major press coverage. No official live stream. Just fragments, short clips captured by attendees. In one of those clips, Bruno Mars is seen interacting casually, laughing, completely at ease. But what stands out isn't what he does. It's what he doesn't address. Even in a room filled with influence, attention, and opportunity, he avoids the obvious questions. No mention of personal life. No hints. No slips. Just presence, focused, controlled, deliberate. That level of discipline doesn't happen by accident. It suggests clarity. It suggests intention. And most importantly, it suggests that whatever story is unfolding is being told exactly how he wants it to be told. But here's where things take an even more unexpected turn. A subtle shift begins appearing in fan communities. At first, the conversation was dominated by speculation, questions, theories, assumptions. But now, something different is happening. Fans are starting to divide into perspectives. One side believes this is a quiet unraveling, a distance growing behind the scenes, reflected subtly through music and behavior. The other side sees it as a power move, a strategic evolution where both Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban are stepping into stronger, more independent versions of themselves without needing to explain anything to the public. And both sides have just enough evidence to keep the debate alive. Because the truth is, ambiguity fuels engagement. And right now, ambiguity is everywhere. Even the music videos, visually stunning, emotionally layered, feel like puzzles rather than straightforward narratives. Symbolism replaces clarity. Mood replaces explanation. And fans? They analyze everything: the lighting, the color tones, the pauses between scenes. Nothing goes unnoticed. Search trends continue to spike. Conversations spread beyond music platforms into mainstream media, lifestyle blogs, and even business discussions about branding and public image control. Because whether intentional or not, this comeback is becoming a case study. How to return without oversharing.